Jenny, it's just taking a little time for the YouTube. I think because I'm at the State House, but it's going now. Hang on.
Senator Whitley, they're praying for me also.
Oh, God bless you.
Why, what's wrong,
Thank
Bill?
Nothing. No.
Oh,
There's an
okay.
abortion, an inside joke with me and Whitley.
Okay, I'm like, well, okay.
At least, Senator Whitley, you're not getting baby dolls that are wrapped in red blood that I can. So my house is getting buried.
I think we're live, Senator. I think we're live now, so I think
Okay, we'll stop.
we're good to go.
There you go.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I am Senator Sharon Carson from District 14. Today, we will be holding a meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Before we get started, I'll read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting that we are holding is in compliance with the right to know law. As chair of the Judiciary Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that, 1, we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the committee and selected legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in this meeting through this platform. And the public has access to contemporaneously watch and or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube and via phone by following the directions and links provided on the General Court website. 2, we have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. 3, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate@leg.state.nh.us or call area code 603-271-6931. 4, in the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. 5, please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. 6, finally, let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state where they are and if anyone else is in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. I will call the roll. Senator Gannon.
Senator Bill Gannon in Sandown, alone in my home office.
Thank you. Senator Khan.
Present in Keene at home. My wife is also in the house.
Thank you. Senator French.
Harold French, Senator District 7, broadcasting once again live from the office in Concord. No one is here.
Okay, thank you. Senator Whitley.
Good afternoon. This is Senator Becky Whitley. I'm at my house in Hopkinton. I'm alone in the room, but my husband is in the house.
Thank you. And I am again Senator Carson. I am at my home in Londonderry and my daughter is in the room with me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, and I am going to open the House Bill 293 and recognize the prime sponsor, Representative Belanger. Good morning.
Thank you,
Good
Madam.
afternoon, Representative.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Excellent. Thank you so much for hearing my testimony today. Again, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For those of you who don't know, my name is Representative Cody Belanger, and I represent the town of Epping, which is also known as the center of the universe. I come before this committee in the past to support legislation for juvenile justice reform, but today I come before you regarding another one of my pet projects. New Hampshire's at-risk youth tend to fall to the wayside. We care for those in our care through the system, but sometimes forget those pursuing adoption of a family member or those that are a like family member. HB 293 is an excellent example on how we, the legislators of New Hampshire, can start to turn the tide for these kiddos that are at risk. those living outside of the parental homes due to court taking custody and granting guardianship, or just generally outside of the state system. HB 293 is just one step of many forward. What it does, in essence, is reduce the time required to waive a home study. While a home study is an important aspect to an adoption of a child, if a said child has been living in the petitioner's adoptive parent's home for 2 consecutive years, they may ask the court to waive a home study. Currently, the law allows for 3. This does not mean that the court has to move forward of waiving it. This bill does allow for different opinions, such as a divorcing couple or other unforeseen circumstances in which a judge finds that a family would need a home study. Perhaps one of the most important pieces of information that I can give you today is that this only applies to the petitioning adoptive parents. You may ask, does this matter for DCYF? The short answer is no, but if Rebecca Ross is on today, she can explain more. Because DCYF is the petitioning party, this bill does not apply to them or the kiddos in their care. For those of you who might not know what a home study is, a home study, also called an assessment, is a very rigorous and sometimes costly process. The home study entails contacting an agency, paying the agency a fee if a grant doesn't apply. This cost can be upwards of $1,100. A background check, which is another $40 per person over the age of 18. Fingerprinting, sex offender check, child abuse and neglect checks, which in my opinion should be done anyways. A physical, financial reports, 10 years of employment, tax returns, and pay stubs. This process can either take weeks or it can take months, depending on how quickly the social worker wants to get through the process. To be clear, I'm not saying a home study is a bad thing, but it is a very time-consuming thing that perhaps some families don't necessarily have to go through, but do because it's the law. As I stated earlier, the law allows you to waive a home study after 3 years, but only if a parent surrenders. This bill seeks to add language to the different circumstances that may apply in any given adoption case, because as we all have heard here before, no adoption is the same. Now, you may hear a proposed amendment come before you. Now, I'm not saying that it will, but I strongly encourage this idea be rejected. It was suggested during House committee hearing that if you change the word "or" to "and" on line 9, you're creating a safety net and ensuring that all adoptions have a home study. While I fully encourage that every child should be in a safe and stable environment, this would add an added unnecessary step in any adoption. Such an amendment should be proposed in the initial guardianship, not towards the end of an adoption, and that is what this is. It would make it more difficult for families and completely derail the intentions of this bill, and would add an added step that isn't currently in practice now. It is my belief that this should be changed, obviously, and that a bill regarding relative placements or petitions by guardianship receives some form of check, which I do intend to file next session. Finally, I will gladly take any questions you may have, and I strongly ask the committee support this bill as written ought to pass. Thank you for your time, Madam Chair, and honorable members of the committee.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Representative Belanger. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative, for your introduction. The current act in section 2 says the court may order an appropriate assessment to assist in determining whether the adoption is in the best interest of the persons involved. Is that a line that would help clarify that in an instance where there was some disagreement and the court wished to order an additional assessment somewhere within that 3-year window? Is that a reasonable step and inclusion in your legislation?
Yes, I don't understand the question. I'm sorry, Senator Khan. Can you rephrase?
Yeah. So you're amending section 2 of 17017, right?
No, I'm amending 170-B:18, Senator.
Thank you. I'll have to take a look. I thought it was, I got the wrong reference. Thank you.
Are there any further questions for Representative Belanger? Seeing none, thank you very much, Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, next we're going to go to Keith Kuning.
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we sure can.
Hi, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Keith Kinning. I'm the Advocate Director at Waypoint. Let me say that we oppose this bill as amended. We initially supported the bill, and I want to make this very clear. I think what Representative Belanger is doing is quite a wonderful thing. I think families that are taking on adopting nephews and nieces and members of their family to take care of them is just absolutely what we need in this state right now. But we're a little bit concerned that the amendment has gone too far. We are the people that believe that line 4 should strike either of, and line 9 should change from or to and. As written, let me give you a scenario. We believe this scenario could play out. Parents A drop their child off with friends B, and friends B become the guardian of that child. Parents A give up their rights to their children. Friends B become the guardians, and over a 2 or 3 year period, they take care of that child, and they could apply under this amendment to adopt that child without ever having a home study. Now, Waypoint has been in the business of adoption for decades and decades and decades. And I have talked to our adoption people, and they feel very, very strongly that at some point there has to be a home study. So what Representative Belanger initially proposed was that the time period for like a family that is adopting a child be extended from 2 to 3 years. And the people in our adoption agency felt that that was a reasonable request. But by amending it as it's been amended, to have absolutely no home study, in our opinion, is a very dangerous thing for children. You're balancing the safety of the child versus the ease of allowing a family to adopt. And we think this amendment has just gone too far and forgotten about the safety of the child and gone too far as making it easy for guardians to adopt the child. I'll stop right there, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Mr. Kuning. Are there any questions from the committee? Mr. Kuning, do you know why the House amended the bill the way that they did?
I think we did talk to Representative Belanger. We had an initial concern about the language saying 2 years or 3 years without having the word consecutive in there. We are afraid that, say, a friend had a child for a year and then came back and the child was gone and then back for another year. And he was very open and he added that word consecutive, I believe, in there. And then somehow it just, it just went in a direction that we just were not comfortable with. And we did make our viewpoint known to the representative and to members of the Children and Family Law Committee, but they still went forward and made this change.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. Are there any further questions for Mr. Kuning? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to Kate Zimmer.
Kate, if you could virtually raise your hand. I do not see Kate Zimmer.
Okay, let's go to Emily Smith.
Emily, if you could please virtually raise your hand. I do not see Emily either.
Okay, Margaret, that's all I have for folks who have signed up to testify. Are there folks in the waiting room that would like to speak?
If anybody else wishes to testify, you can virtually raise your hand. I do not have any hands raised.
Okay, well, then I am going to close the public hearing on House Bill 293. I'm going to put the committee into recess for 10 minutes while we switch gears from a public hearing to an executive session. We'll see you all in 10 minutes.
Healthy, eating well.
I'm very pleased to hear that, Senator. It's important, you know, potassium.
Yeah, you didn't see the Cheez-Its 2 minutes ago, but they're orange, so that's a different food
Yeah,
group.
it's like a fruit. And I mean, it's got the dairy.
I go by color.
important for you.
Yellow dye number 5 is its own food group.
There you go.
Nacho cheese Doritos, Cheetos, it's its own food. Cheez-Its,
There you go.
All a whole group to themselves.
orange powdery foods. Yellow dye number 5. Breakfast of champions.
It is. I think Cheez-Its may be my favorite cracker.
They are good, and there's so many varieties now to choose from.
Oh, but see, well, okay, how do we
Extra
feel about the
toasty. How about the
toasty?
toasty? The toasty.
I like the toasties too, right?
Yes, but I'm willing to go reduced fat, regular. They're all.
Oh,
fine.
no, don't go with the reduced fat. What are you
If you
doing?
start
Senator,
eating them
with your
enough, you
life?
won't notice the difference. You'll have
It's
no
just
frame
full
of
of
reference.
sugar then and like
It's plummeting.
chemicals. It's not healthy like the normal Cheez-Its that are just like full of natural, healthy ingredients.
Exactly.
We're giving away all our secrets about the junk food we like to eat, folks. So,
Well, it's May. I feel like by the time we get to May, it's usually the junk food is out and about pretty hard.
well, the junk food has been out and about since
about a year.
fall of last year, so. Okay. Okay, is everyone back? I see Senator Khan is not back. Let's wait a few moments for him.
I do have to thank you, Harold, for the beer bill, because that I've really learned a lot about the whole distribution down. I understand that whole thing now. It's a whole.
You're doing
different
well
world.
if you understand that whole 3-tier system.
I do right now, but like if you ask me in 3 or 4 days,
Right.
it would be big. It's sort of like
Okay.
studying for an exam in law school. I knew it for a day, Senator Whitley, and then fades away.
Okay, folks, I am going to take the committee out of recess, and can I get a motion to move into executive session?
Moved.
Moved by Senator French, seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, is there any discussion on the executive session motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, we have quite a few bills that we can discuss this afternoon, and we're gonna try to go numerically. The first bill we have is 108 FN. This is relative to minutes and decisions in non-public sessions under the right to know law. Can I get a motion on this bill?
Motion for ought to pass.
Okay, Senator Gannon moves ought to pass. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator French. Okay, we have 2 amendments in front of us. Oh, wait a minute, we can't take this bill up. I apologize to all of you. We need to have a public hearing on the amendments. So we're gonna put this one aside. I know Senator French, you can look at me and go, huh? I'm waiting to get confirmation from Finance about waiving the FN. So hopefully they will be able to do that. But can I ask the both of you to withdraw your motions?
I will if Bill does.
Okay, terrific. Okay, so that one we'll have to hold off. Okay, next we have House Bill 123, which is granting immunity from prosecution for prostitution for reporting a sexual assault.
I move on
Is
to
there-
pass.
Okay, Senator Whitley moves ought to pass. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Senator French. Is there any discussion on House Bill 123 and the ought to pass motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Senator Whitley, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the consent motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. And I will take this one out. Okay. Next, we're going to skip over House Bill 125 for now. Next, we're going to move House Bill 129 FN, and this is prohibiting the installation or use of electronic tracking software. I'll get it out. If you remember, we had no testimony whatsoever from the crime sponsor of this bill.
Motion to ITL.
Okay, Senator Gannon moves ITL. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Whitley. Is there any discussion on the ITL motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Senator Khan, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the consent motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Senator Khan, would you like to take this one out?
Sure. Can do.
Okay. Next, we're coming up to House Bill 179. And this is relative to enhanced penalties based on prior convictions for driving under the influence of drugs or liquor. Do you folks, would you folks like to address this one today, or would you like a little more time to look at this?
I'm okay. Do you guys want to talk about it all? Or do you want to wait?
I still have a problem with parts of this bill that I can't support at this time.
Okay.
So I don't know what you do.
So would you like to, this is not a fiscal note bill, Senator French. Would you like us to hold this?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would ask you to.
Okay, Jenny, I see you going.
Sorry, I just wanted to note that it is a fiscal note. We have until next week, but I just wanted to make that note.
Oh, I thought they were due this week.
We have to report out by next week.
Okay, terrific. So we can hold this one, Senator French, until you get the answers you're looking for.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have House Bill, let's see, 180. I would like to hold this one. There seemed to be some confusion about this, and I don't know if you folks want to talk about it. The House added an additional paragraph here, and that basically put in a Romeo and Juliet clause, as it's called. The prime sponsor of the bill was not pleased with the addition of this this paragraph. So I don't know what you folks would like to do with this bill.
Yeah, I don't think I could support this bill as amended, but could, look at the original version as introduced.
Okay. What about the rest of the committee members?
Do you want to wait a week, Harold?
Yeah.
Okay, I think one of the biggest problems was changing, because it really is just changing it from a Class B to a Class A felony.
That's my problem with it, obviously, changing
Yeah.
it from 3.5 to 7 to 7 after 15 years in prison.
Okay.
just have a difficult time wrapping my mind around that.
Okay. Terrific, that's fine. We can hold off this until next week, and perhaps Senator French, you can maybe do a little research or,
Soul searching.
yeah, whatever you want to call it. So, okay. Next we have House Bill 197. This one I would like to re-refer back to the committee. I think that there was some testimony here, and I think that we need to just get a lot more clarification on this bill. And I think we just need time to be able to get the clarification that we're looking for. So if we can re-refer this to the
I
committee.
move to re-refer.
Okay, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the re-refer motion?
Yeah, I'm happy to support a re-refer. I will say that there is little that could be done for this bill for me to support, and any expansion of stand your ground would be really difficult for me to support. In fact, I think we should be repealing existing law.
Okay, thank you.
Did someone ask you?
Well, I'm glad to hear her opinion, and I would say that, I completely support what Senator Whitley has just said.
Senator French, you know me now. I'm not about sharing my opinion.
Okay, so we have a motion to re-refer this back to the committee. Okay, is there any further discussion on House Bill 197? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes,
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a consent calendar motion? Senator Khan?
so moved.
Okay, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, so any discussion on the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes,
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, Senator French, would you like to,
I would very much like to take that out if I could,
yeah, okay.
Jen.
She's got you down for that. Okay, next we have House Bill 200 FN. This is increasing the penalty for certain invasions of privacy. We had no testimony whatsoever.
Yeah, I would move to re-refer this one. You know, it was interesting that we didn't have any testimony. There was some concerns raised by Fish and Game, and so a re-referral might help us address those concerns.
Okay, would you entertain a motion of ITL?
Well, I think I already moved re-refer. I guess I don't have enough information to kill it outright. There were a lot of folks who did provide testimony, just to sort of out of respect for those folks who did, share their concerns. I think I would rather re-refer.
Okay, Senator, when you talk about people who gave their testimony, I just want to make it clear to the public that we had no one testify on the record on this bill. Fish and Game had sent us a letter, which should be included in the bill file, saying that they had problems with the bill. So I just want to make clear that no one officially testified on this bill.
Yes, I apologize. I guess what I meant was just had submitted support or oppose. If the rest of the committee feels that we're ready to move on from this bill, I'm happy to withdraw that re-referral and entertain a different motion.
Okay, thank you.
I move ITL.
Okay, Senator French moves ITL, seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, is there any discussion on the ITL motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
yes,
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Senator Gannon, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator French. Okay, is there any discussion on the consent calendar motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, I will take this one out. Just in case there's some questions. Okay, next we have House Bill 347. This one is relative to driving with a suspended license. I would like to ask the committee if we can retain this bill. I think that we heard some interesting some very interesting testimony. And I think we just need more time, quite frankly, to look at this. We had testimony because from the New Hampshire criminal defense lawyers that were in opposition to the first part of the bill, and claims that it would actually cause a substantial delay in justice, which, as we know, is basically unfair. This bill was in the House last year and it was tabled and because of COVID. So I do think that this needs some more work because we're talking about out-of-state jurisdictions, and I think there's a lot of different moving parts here that we just need to collect more information on before we can vote. So I just asked to re-refer this back to the committee, and I will make the motion to re-refer.
Second.
Seconded by Senator French. Is there any further discussion on the retained motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a consent calendar motion?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Senator Khan, seconded by Senator French. Is there any discussion on the consent calendar motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. And Jenny, I will also take this one. Next, we have House Bill 427. This is prohibiting corporal punishment of children in state agency programs.
I move on to pass on this one.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Khan. So let's talk about this. I have a note here on section 2 of the bill concerning physical force by persons with special responsibilities. And I have a question of whether or not this particular section is in conflict with RSA 126. And just exactly what constitutes corporal punishment. So I know that you want to, this takes out for the maintenance of discipline, but what does it mean to prevent injury or self to others? I really think this section here, to prevent injury to self or others, needs to be fleshed out a little more. What does that mean? And who gets to make that kind of a decision about whether or not to use some sort of physical force on a child? Under what circumstances? And it just says, for supervision of a minor for special purposes is justified on the premises in using necessary force against such minor when the minor creates a disturbance. Okay, well, what actually is a disturbance? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about a child who is throwing things at other people, or is this a verbal disturbance where someone's yelling and screaming? And is that, I mean, we do know that children have disabilities that, where they lose control of themselves verbally or physically. And then it's or refuses to leave the premises. If the child is being confined because of a court order, what does that mean? Are you talking about they're in a classroom and they're acting out? And you want to get them out of the classroom and they refuse to leave? I mean, I just think there's a lot of questions here that I just think needs to be fleshed out. I agree with this bill. We should not be doing any kind of corporal punishment of children in state agency programs. But I just think this one section here just really needs to be fleshed out a little more. So we're giving some very clear direction to people that are dealing with our children. And so if we have, does this mean if a child is in a foster care program or they're in some other sort of placement, how is that going to work? I mean, how are you going to enforce it, especially with a child that's in foster care? So those are some of the questions that I have.
Yep. So Senator Carson, I'm happy to continue working. I know that, some folks who had worked on changes to the child restraint law, 126U, I know that they had spent some time making sure that this bill and 126U were in harmony. So, and I trust those folks. But if you feel this bill needs some more work, I'd rather re-refer it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at who came in and testified, and I really would have liked to have heard from the Office of the Child Advocate, considering they issued a report, and I want to say last year, that dealt with child restraint. And I'd like to hear from Mike Skibby. He did not testify, and I know that he's been very involved with the issue of restraining of children. So I just think that we just need to hear more voices before we can actually vote on this.
Okay, I'll withdraw my OTP motion.
Okay, thank you. Senator Khan, did you want to say something?
I do, and I'll withdraw the second, but what I wanted to say is two things. One, I think line 22 here is actually, it's an improvement on the bill. The maintenance of discipline is a very vague term, and I think that the sponsors here, to prevent injury to self or others, is responsive to what I've heard, having chaired a study committee on school violence. And whether this is a biting problem that needs to be to prevent injury to others, hitting, throwing, I think this is defining when somebody needs to defend themselves or others in a situation. I don't mind having to, Mr. Skibby was very helpful in navigating that study committee's report and finding. So if we want to hear from him and Maura O'Neill, I mean, these are two important voices, but I recognize this as an improvement and responsive to the issues that people in schools are facing increasingly, and is traumatizing to those who have to both witness or be the victims of this.
Yeah, thank you for your comments, Senator Khan. I agree with you completely. It's just that I think we need to flesh this out a bit more. I do agree that the language that's being proposed is much better than for the maintenance of discipline. I would definitely agree with you there. I just think we just need to just take a step back and maybe look at adding more things here. So that way we are very, very clear about what we're talking about. So, and I would just bring up that this was a bill that passed last year, but was not included in any omnibus bill, so it died. So I just think we just need a little time just to really look at this and make some other changes. So or additions, not changes, I should say. Okay.
Yeah, and it would be great because Moira O'Neill, the Office of Child Advocate, now has this expanded authority. I think it would be good if she could provide some assistance and convene a group to really think through this. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so I'll make the motion to refer this back to the committee. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any further discussion on the re-referred motion? Okay. Seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon. Senator Whitley.
Yes.
Senator Khan.
Yes.
Senator French.
Yes.
And Senator Carson. Yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Senator Gannon. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator French. Is there any further discussion on the re-refer motion?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss that. I just, because of the people who are having to deal with these situations, I'm wondering if consent is the right motion here.
Okay.
I think the public and in particular those who experience this kind of trauma and situation may need to hear that it's additional testimony that we seek and not because we have reservations with the way that this is leading.
Okay, thank you, Senator. I'm going to call the roll and it's going to come out the way it comes out. So Senator Gannon.
Yes.
Senator Whitley.
Yes.
Senator French.
No.
Okay. Senator Khan.
No.
And Senator Carson, yes. So the consent motion fails, and it will come out of committee 5-0. And Jenny, I will take this one to the floor. Okay. Okay, next we have 436. This one relative to eyewitness identification procedures. This is another one that I'd like us to consider possibly re-referring back to the committee. Before a motion is made, do you folks want to discuss this?
I agree with you on referring it. I think it has merits. It needs more work.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Senator Whitley.
I would support a re-referral. It does sound like the parties are still working on it, and so I think we should encourage that collaboration.
Okay, thank you. So I will make a motion to re-refer. Is there a second?
Second.
Senator Khan.
Yeah.
Okay, Senator Khan, you had a comment.
Yeah, I'd just say that the testimony on this was in the direction of one, apparently we have a report that the Police Association has collected. I don't know if that's had the visibility that it sufficiently covers and all towns. So that was one issue that I hope that we'll make sure we understand the extent to which compliance has been achieved to date. And the other is that there was some concern about how inadmissible evidence might be in a trial. So I mean, those were two things that I hope we'll give further consideration to.
Thank you, Senator Khan. Okay, so we have a re-referred motion that's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the re-refer motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
I move consent.
Okay, Senator French moves consent, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the consent motion? Okay, seeing none, Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Senator Khan, would you like to write the blurb on this one?
I thank you. I'm glad to, and thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Okay, next we have House Bill 474. Is there, oh, this one I think we need to hold on to because there is an amendment by Representative Earth, I think it's how it's proposed. I have not had an opportunity to look at that amendment. So because this is not a fiscal note bill, I would just like to see if we can hold off doing this one. So that way I'll have an opportunity to look at the amendment. Okay, next we have House Bill 546 FN, and this is relative to 911 immunity for reporting that a person has been the victim of a violent crime. Is there a motion on this?
I move to pass on this one.
Okay, Senator Whitley moves ought to pass, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the ought to pass motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar? Moved by Senator Khan. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any discussion on the consent calendar motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
and Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, is there anyone who would like to take this one out?
Sure.
Bill's got his hand up.
Okay, Bill will take his hand, take this one out. Okay, we're still holding 625 and 233. These were bills that still need some work on them. We have the ones that we heard yesterday. What would you folks like to do? Would you like to take a little more time to think about these bills? They're not fiscal note bills. Or would you like to move forward with them?
Forward, but I don't care. Whatever the committee wants.
We don't have to do them today. I mean,
I'm fine today, though.
we have time. So I don't know if maybe some of you would like to get the hearing reports, to review the hearing reports. That's fine with me too. So we can end and we'll just do these, if not next week, the week after next. What I was thinking of doing is, because we now have Monday afternoons available to us, is if you would entertain the idea of having another public hearing section on Monday, May 10th, and then we will finish on Tuesday, May 11th, with all of the bills having a public hearing. And then after that, we will just schedule executive sessions where we'll make decisions about what to do with the bills. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 9 bills left and that amendment to House Bill 108.
That's
Am I
fine with me.
correct, Jenny? I think so. So is that a plan of action that you folks can agree that we can do?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Okay, and is there a second? Okay, moved by Senator Khan. I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Thank you all for your work this afternoon. we're gonna just have a busy 2 weeks, but we will be done. And we'll have plenty of time to look at these bills and make decisions. So thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you in session
Sorry,
on
we just
Thursday.
need to do a motion to adjourn first, Senator.
Oh, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Senator Whitley, seconded by Senator Gannon. I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Whitley.
Yes, and well done today, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Many thanks to Jenny and Tricia and Margaret and to our attorney, Mr. Lehman. And everybody have a great afternoon, and we will see you in session on